Hey everybody, how's it going? John D'Alessio here again. Right now I'm driving back to my place. I just celebrated my birthday at Busch Gardens and celebrated it with a good friend of mine. I really like this the lavalier microphone that I got. It allows me to record in the car as I'm driving without there being like too much background noise because it's like on my shirt. Whereas before, like if you look at my first video, it's just like it's horrible. Sound is really bad. This is really just like a new thing for me, just externalizing my thoughts, just as I'm doing things. I mean, every now and then you talk to yourself, and so you like externalize your thoughts. Like sometimes when I'll be in the gym, I'll try to count my weights, like add them up, so that I'm pushing the right amount of weight, and then I'll just like do the math like out loud. But if you externalize your thoughts too much, it seems like some people might look at you weird, give you like a side eye or something. Sometimes I get into a state of like analysis paralysis where I'm trying to find the right words to say. Like when I was in high school, I think I would only like speak up. Like I said this already. I would speak up only when I knew the answer to something. But a lot of questions in life, they're not obvious answers to. Like what do you do when, say, like a close friend of yours is going through a really hard time? One second. And we're back. We're about to go. Just riding on the highway. There's a Wawa on that exit. I remember when Wawas didn't used to be in Florida. The first time I ever saw a Wawa, I went up to New Jersey, and one of my good friends, Joe, we went out biking in the middle of the night, and I didn't even know that there was a curfew in Jersey. So we were apparently out past curfew. We were like teenagers at the time. So we went out biking, and then at the end of the trip, we met up with, I think it was like one of his sister's friends or something. We just saw them outside of like a Wawa, and I don't remember if we were gonna go in the Wawa or not, but like I remember I was like, "What the heck is Wawa?" And he was like, "You've never heard of Wawa, bro?" But it just hadn't ever gotten down to Florida. I wonder when they made their first expansion into Florida. It's got to be like maybe like 5 years ago or something. Maybe earlier than that, 6 years ago. Who knows? I mean, you can just look it up online. Yeah, it's kind of weird that you can just look things up online. I was talking with one of the guys at my jujitsu gym, and he was saying like, yeah, back when I was in high school or back in my day, you had a question to something and like you couldn't just immediately get an answer to it. You had to like think about it, and you had to put time into it and mental energy into it. And now you're just like, oh, I'm gonna look it up on the internet. Uh, it's a blessing and a curse to have the internet. On the one side, it's like, wow, near infinite knowledge, just like at your fingertips all the time. But then the downside is you have near infinite knowledge that's just like all over the place. It's just information overload all the time. I was listening to another Jordan Peterson video the other day, just like one of his old lectures, like went viral, I don't know, years ago. And he was talking about like IQ and just like general intelligence. And he was actually talking about the things that like make you successful in your future career. And one of those was IQ. And he said there's not really much that you can do about your IQ. It's kind of like built in. It's just like genetic. Um, there are things that you can do to lower your IQ pretty substantially, but there's not a lot you can do to increase it. But one of the things that you can do to keep it actually at like a high level throughout your life, basically prevent it from degrading over time, is physical exercise. Like physical exercise is like the biggest thing that you can do to make sure that your brain stays healthy over the course of your life. And his reasoning was like, well, you know, your brain requires like a lot of oxygen, and so if your body is, you know, has good circulation, it's able to, you know, feed everything your brain needs. Now, I'm no neurologist, but that's my basic understanding of it. There used to be a guy that I used to watch as like a kid named Slipgator.
What is up, the world? It is your friendly neighborhood Slipgator here, hanging out today, doing stuff and things.
He did like Ark Survival Evolved videos, and whenever he would like do something, he would say he would like he'd be like looking at like a piece of bark or something, and he'd be like, "Well, I'm no barkologist." And it just reminded me of that. He's saying, "I'm no neurologist." I think I gotta like figure out how to edit videos a little bit better. I mean, all I really know how to do right now is just like take out, like cut up different sections of the video that are just like dead space or dead air, and then get rid of them. That's pretty basic. Seems like as you do things, like you get faster at doing them. Um, one of the things that I've done, or I felt like I got faster at doing, I was talking about this with one of my classmates, is there's like this for Mom Lab, that's Mechanics of Materials Laboratory for those of you who don't know, and also my Controls Lab. It's done by the same professor, this guy named Shannon Ridgway, and he has like a very specific format for how he wants his lab reports done. He has a whole template, and the whole template like just explains everything that like you need for making the report formatted the way that he wants. And it's like you could take a whole course on just like learning how to do his lab reports. But after I did like the first one, I hadn't done one of his lab reports since like I think it was like sophomore year. It was either sophomore or junior year. I hadn't done one of his lab reports since then, and so I had to kind of relearn how to do all of his lab reports. But after I did the first one, the second one came like way faster. It took me like a few days to do the first one, like after getting all of the data and everything and putting it into tables and stuff for the report. Like me actually writing the report took like, say, yeah, around 3 or 4 days. And then when I did the next report, it only took me a day. Now it was like one sitting. Like I sat down for like 8 hours and did it. But it was a lot faster than I did it before. So like as you do things, you just like get faster at doing them. And that's, I guess, the same for almost any profession. I think that that's something that like contributes to like, I don't know, markets getting more efficient over time, or like I'd say that's probably something that contributes to like getting like compound interest. It's like as you do one thing and you do it well, you just get like faster at doing it. And so like you can leverage the time that you spend. So like let's say you're working on something and you figure out a way to do it faster, then you just save a whole bunch of time, and like time is money. I was like, sometimes I just get like random Bible verses that just like pop up in my head, and sometimes they like apply to the situation, but other times they don't. And then I get like the opportunity to either like say it or not say it. Like, okay, sometimes a random proverb will like pop up in my head in a given situation, but if the proverb doesn't apply and I just like say it, it's not going to make any sense to anybody, and then you just look dumb. And that actually reminds me of another proverb that talks about like a proverb being in like a fool's mouth. It's like shame or something to him. I want to look up the actual proverb, but I'm driving right now. Or it says like a parable in the mouth of fools, or something like that. Ugh. So much of like reading the Bible, and like I don't retain all the information, which, I mean, I can't expect to like retain all the information unless I had like some kind of photographic memory. But sadly, I do not have that. I have a good memory, but it's not infallible. There's a speed check ahead. Better slow my roll. I think it's kind of weird that Apple, like what is it, like Apple Maps? I think I'm using Apple Maps. That it actually tells you like, oh yeah, there's a speed check. Like, didn't you used to get in trouble for having like something that could detect where like police were or something? Remember there was this guy that had like, I don't know, he had what seemed like the coolest car when I was a kid. He had like a police, I think he had like a police scanner in it where you could like see where like the cops were whenever he was driving. It was like an all black car. I forget what the model was, but it looked really cool. if I was to ever like splurge on a car, I think I'd want to get like a Dodge Challenger. I've always thought that those cars look really cool. They kind of remind me of like the 19, 1950s, 19, is it like 1950s? I don't know, like the muscle car. Like it reminded me of like Mustang. Well, it is a muscle car, so makes sense. Yeah, but I'm probably a pretty long way away from getting a car like that. Just because, I mean, I don't have like my career all established yet. Maybe I'll feel differently when I actually get some money coming in. But I'm generally very frugal with my finances, and that's one thing that I also kind of struggle with is figuring out when to be generous because you know I think God wants us to be generous people. He wants us to be people that care for others. It says like whatever you do to the least of these, you've done to me. Sometimes I wish that I just had the Bible totally memorized, so whenever like something could come up, I'd just be able to like pull it straight up from memory. Maybe that's what they're gonna do with the Neuralink. You'll just be able to connect to the internet and just search up anything at an instant in your own brain. Gosh, I don't know, that honestly sounds pretty bad. I don't know if I'd want all that. One of the things that my brother told me about just doing YouTube in general is it's going to take up a lot of video storage on my devices. So I'm going to have to like figure out a way to organize the files properly. He recommended like me getting I think it was like a 1 terabyte hard drive, 1 terabyte storage hard drive. He said that costs like around $80 or something. I wonder what my future self is going to think looking back on this video. And like anytime like a price is mentioned or something, just look back, see how much inflation has happened. Like I'm still young, so I haven't really gotten like a full grasp of how much like inflation will happen. That's something that I've noticed from just older people is that they really have like a better sense of like how fast like things inflate because they've had their entire lifetime to compare prices. Like they understand what prices were when they were kids, and then they look at prices now and they're just like, oh my gosh, this is like astronomical compared to like what things were when I was a kid. Something that I've noticed about prayer is, well, you can't expect God to answer every single one of your prayers with like a yes, especially if it's something that's like self-serving. But when you align yourself with God's will for your life, you end up praying for things that God would like want you to pray for. Like I remember being young and like I started going to the gym maybe when I was like a teenager. Oh yeah. I started going maybe when I was like 13 or 14. And it took like a really long time. I mean, I was strong for my age because I was always in like martial arts. But I was never big. I was like super skinny. Like I think back on it now, and I'm like, I'm 24 now, and I'm like, God has actually answered my prayer. And it was because not only was I praying for like what I wanted strength, but I was actually like doing the necessary things for me to get strength. I was going into the gym and I was exercising. So when your prayer aligns with your actions, when your words align with your actions, I think that's the optimal place to be. You want to be a man of your word, and you want to follow through to the best of your ability, of course. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to just perfectly do that every time. Like everything that you say that like totally binds you. It's like that's a very heavy burden, it seems. If you can be a man of your word, that's I think God looks kindly upon that. How much longer do I have on this trip? So yeah, I got about another hour and 40 minutes. I think that's all I gotta say for today. I'm gonna go back to listening to some more YouTube videos. Sometimes it's nice to just like drive and kind of turn off your brain and then just like listen. But you also got to be careful about the things that you listen to because they do have an impact on your perceptions and on your actions. So, anyway, I pray that the Lord blesses you, that He keeps you. Always pray to Him to lead you in the right way and to not lead you into temptation. I hope you guys all have a blessed day. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.